Hey, what's up, folks? It's Jesse with Keeping It Real Finance, the channel that always says you're back and tells it like it is. Well, you know it's Friday when I got your Jasmy update. So in today's video, we got a lot of different topics to cover. We're going to be talking about Sagan Tosu, the jerseys that will be given away tomorrow. This is Saturday, July 2nd. They'll be going out to all those fans. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about DD Coin. The project released quite a few different images on DD Coin. So they've been following that. They know we've all been talking about DD Coin. There have been some jitters out there in the market about DD Coin and what it means. So they released those. I find that to be real bullish. We'll be talking about that in today's video. We'll be talking about our Jasmy call that we've been doing. I had a really productive call last Sunday, went about 3 hours. That was a long one. We got another one coming around this Sunday. Shout out to that. Various influencers, a lot going on in today's video, and I'm going to hopefully be covering all of that, as well as I want to answer the question, is Jasmy Sony, or is Jasmy VAIO, or is Jasmy none of the above? Okay, so I'm going to cover that also in today's video. So hopefully you should have some good takeaways here going into your weekend. Cheers to everybody. Hopefully for all of you across the pond, I get this out in time. I apologize, sometimes the editing process takes just forever. So hopefully I can get this video cranked out soon enough that you can see it on Friday night, all right? So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit the like button. If this is your first time to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And if you click the bell, you'll be made aware whenever I post time-sensitive content just like this. And now, let's get it going. All right, what's up, everybody? Happy Friday to everybody out there. You know it's a Friday when I'm coming at you with my weekly Jasmy update. So in today's video, we're going to kind of scroll through my feed here. I've got all kinds of various Jasmy posts and some things to run through. So should have a little bit of everything covered in this video. We're going to be kicking it off with this post here from DJ Zippy Crypto, my friend Lebo in Wales. Shout out to you, man. Was this post here from Sagan Tosu. So he's got some arrows on here. So what's it showing? Well, basically, Sagan Tosu is the soccer team that Jasmy is sponsoring, and you can see the Jasmy logo kind of going all around the stadium. So found that pretty bullish, thought that was a cool find. And I've seen a couple different pictures of this also where they're not close-up pictures of these two guys. It's kind of at a zoomed-out level, kind of going all around the stadium. So they do have quite a few Jasmy advertisements. And why this is relevant is that on July 2nd, that would be tomorrow, Saturday, is the day that they're going to be giving away 9,500 jerseys to the first people to come through. And the jersey, supposedly, I think they said is a one-size-fits-all, so I'm not sure what size they're going with, maybe a large XL, something like that. So for those of you outside of Japan who cannot go to the Sagan Tosu match, I would keep an eye on eBay, because I would imagine that these jerseys could be popping up on eBay, these Jasmy jerseys. Okay, it will be the blue one that's visible here in the picture. All right, moving forward. So let me scroll up. Here's one. This was a pretty good one. So Brian Russell, if you don't follow him, he's an active member in the Jasmy community. Highly recommend giving him a follow. He does research that's pretty much second to none. So shout out to you, Brian. He had reposted this one from Hara that sort of found new legs. So this was cool. So this was from 2021, where Hara said, this is the Jasmy coin logo. And he basically explains it that it captures the image of IoT joining everything and everyone like a gear. The J represents a person, and we designed it with the idea of a person in the center connected to the hardware around them. So that's really cool. And going back to DJ Zippy Crypto, I'm not really going to show it in this video, but he had sent me a couple of posts with their watch and some of their various technology posts that they did years and years ago. So it's just kind of neat to see this and kind of how it's all come together. Now, we also had this post here that Hara mentioned. This is our ecosystem visualized. So this was from Jasmy League, and it says, is the full picture of the Jasmy ecosystem. Please click down here, and this is just the start. So I found this image to be pretty interesting. I think it breaks it down. Obviously, there's a lot more that could be included in here, and maybe if one or two things slightly reworded. So if you're looking at this, though, it says crypto exchanges, right? So here's everybody who's buying Jasmy coin on the crypto exchange. So you and me, right? Then it says stake Jasmy. So that's interesting. So I kind of see this as this could say wallet. So I've been talking about wallet in my various videos that they have mentioned a couple different times. Is through their wallet, you will then activate the platform. And that's kind of what this is right here. The stake Jasmy should kind of be like a slash wallet, right? Now, going down here into the ecosystem, you can see DD Coin. So we were talking a lot about DD Coin over the last couple of weeks. This is where it comes into play. So we have the data use case, the Teases, this entering, leaving management support system. So that's pretty interesting. And that's kind of like the NFT side of this. We've got the happiness project. We have the Jasmy fan token. This is the Sagan Tosu also on the NFT side, and more. And there's a lot more that could fit into this and more section right here. So obviously 3 dots, ... But there is a lot going on in the and more section. So going down further, we have the personal data lockers, there you go. And platform Jasmy IoT platform and secure PC at the bottom. So anyway, really cool for them to put this image out there. The community has really been asking for a lot more things just like this. Like we need more from the team to give us this type of imagery and make it all make sense, right? So anyway, I thought that was pretty cool that they released that over this past week. All right, now moving up. So let's see here. Here we go. So this post here in particular from Jasmy Management. What is DD Coin? So it says data democracy coin, Japanese yen-backed stablecoin, legally equivalent to points. Any questions, ideas, etc. Now they posted this whole chain of images, and I think this was a response to the community talking about DD Coin over the last couple of weeks. In particular, you know, I think DD Coin, a lot of people maybe didn't really grasp the concept. And on top of that, it was not in the white paper. So that sort of makes people nervous when all of a sudden you're introducing something new, especially for, you know, anybody who's been investing for a long time in Jasmy. This is a new idea, right? So it says new reward system to promote data utilization. So features granted to individuals as a reward for providing data, redeemable for Jasmy coin. That's the most important part, right? So when I've talked about this and talked about having a wallet, well, in the wallet, you should be able to redeem it for Jasmy if you'd like. So used to purchase DD tokens. So this is the fan token that they're talking about. That's the NFT, recorded on-chain, legally equivalent to points. So advantages, supports IoT data, inexpensive and fast transactions, local currency, in-game currency, that's referring to the Metaverse. No market value fluctuation, that's really important, right? I've talked about that before, that it's a stable marker for them to get an accurate value on the price of user data, and can be introduced by listed companies. Now, there's another post that we're going to talk about in a minute about that, but that's interesting, this listed companies. So that was the first image here on DD Coin, and I thought it was good that they brought that up. Traditional point system, DD Coin user's perspective. So points cannot be used except for specific purposes, recorded on server, digital marketing. So use is expanded with growth of Jasmy, recorded on blockchain. Data value is returned to the individual, right? So that's really important. And then it says, traditional point system, DD Coin company's perspective only for specific use, cost of system development. So building a proprietary point system is very costly. So this is a more efficient way to do it. So that makes sense. I'm on board with that. Management of personal information of point holders. So significant effort and expense required. So basically what they're saying is when we do it on blockchain, it's a lot more efficient. we can do it cheaper. It makes more sense. So diverse applications, easily used and consumed in the real world. Platform functionality is free of charge. Data belongs to the individuals, right? So these are just sort of all the different selling points on DD Coin. So valorization of data, use of cryptocurrency, Jasmy Coin. So activation. So here we go. The wallet. So exactly what I've been talking about, right? The wallet associated with my page does not open all features from the beginning. A deposit of a certain amount of Jasmy Coin is required to open up the functionality. So they've talked about this, that in order to activate the wallet, you would need to deposit some Jasmy, okay? So for fairness, we will also require a certain amount of deposit from businesses that utilize user data, okay? So wallet activation, Jasmy Coin staking. Now that's like music to my ears. Jasmy Coin staking. So this is part of the game theory aspect of this, that you have to incentivize people through game theory to stake, right? And that's what they're doing. So data accumulation, so through activation, use of PF services, applications, control of data provision, acquisition of DD Coin, conversion to Jasmy Coin. All that can be done through the activation there. So basically, I think what they've done here in those various images is just fill in more blanks for us, for the community. And that's exactly what we've been asking for over the last couple of weeks. So this is a good thing. It tells you that the team at Jasmy is listening to the community. All right. Moving forward. So let me scroll on up here. This was interesting. This was an article that came out in Coinpedia that Jasmy US had retweeted. And Jasmy US, I got to say, has been on fire over the last week. So good job, you. He's also really stepped up big time in running our calls. He ran the last call, did an excellent job. And so he has been on fire with the posts this past week. So if you're not following Jasmy US, definitely give him a follow. He's got all kinds of really good information on Jasmy posted on his page. But this article in particular, this Coinpedia one, referenced whales accumulating through Ethereum, and it specifically called out Jasmy as one of the coins that they thought the whales were buying. Now, I don't know if that's 100% true. And the reason I say that is, was it this one right here? Yeah, so this post right above here. So Jasmy Foundation, right? So they say the seed fund of 300 million Jasmy has been repurchased and will soon open the second phase of the fund. The second phase will allow institutions to inject capital in the form of Jasmy token with a minimum amount of 10 million and a maximum of 100 million. So that's interesting, injecting capital. So it's talking about whales buying Jasmy, and that almost kind of ties into this thing here. And so they were talking about whales accumulating Ethereum and Ethereum tokens, ERC20 tokens. Jasmy is an ERC20 token. And I don't know if it's necessarily 100% whales or if it's businesses. And it could be more on the business front than the whale front. To be determined. I don't know. That's sort of a question out there. Maybe somebody like Dip Metaverse can answer that one, because I know that he's really dug into the Etherscan data really well. So maybe we can try it and determine between him and the Coinfrontation, the new channel for one of my other friends on here. I'm sure one of you guys can probably dig into this and figure this out, but I would be curious to know, is it actually whales that are purchasing Jasmy, or is it businesses? And I don't know if we'll be 100% able to determine that, but we shall see, right? Anyways, moving on. Moving up here. So this was another tweet from Jasmy US referring to the Metaverse 2.0 launching July 15th. So that's right around the corner. So today being the first, we've got 2 weeks on this one, and the Jasmy Metaverse 2.0 should be launching. So as Crypto Gizmo here says, includes the following updates: block identities for people, browse Jasmy Metaverse. So this could be really neat. Virtual world to include DeFi, NFT, GameFi, SocialFi, IoT, innovative ecosystems, new collaboration models. So, and I gotta say, this image they put in here, really cool. I thought that was really neat. So keep an eye on that one. That is coming in 2 weeks. Here was a big post. So Jasmy Management. And, this is why I wanted to scroll through my feed in particular, is because there's so many different Jasmy accounts that to get everything captured in one place is a little bit tricky, right? So this one here is coming from Jasmy Management. We're thrilled to share with the community, after being listed on Huobi Global, we are going to be listed on Huobi Japan. Now, that's a really big deal, because other than Huobi Japan, they are on BitPoint in Japan only. If they get a third exchange, which my friend Brian has mentioned, it's either in this post or another one, essentially they are greenlisted then in Japan to be listed on all of them. Okay, so they'll have the approval. I want to say they would have had to have been listed for 6 months, which is what they will have had with BitPoint. So this is the second one. So really all we need is one more exchange. And the guys and I had been talking about this kind of earlier in the week, and somebody had mentioned, I think Bitflyer was an option to potentially list Jasmy. So more to come on that one. But basically, I think what we're trying to say here is that when the third exchange in Japan lists them, then all of the exchanges can list them. So really, really bullish for Jasmy on that front. So I like that. All right. So that was a great post with Huobi. Yeah, and this is exactly what Jasmy US listed here with the green list. So same thing, same topic. Jasmy Management. So again, going back to DD Coin. Why do we use DD Coin in Jasmy Ecosystem? Well, this is a really easy way to look at it. Faster and inexpensive transaction recorded on Jasmy blockchain, provided stable value for user data, and lower regulatory risk. There you go. So that's kind of the easy way to look at this. So if you don't want to look at all those various images I showed earlier, this post right here from Jasmy Management sums it up. 4 reasons right there. Boom. That's exactly why they're doing it. Okay. Moving on. This was a really interesting post. So shout out to Monkey Sausage at Britman. So he sends me a lot of really cool stuff. So shout out to you, man. This one in particular, I retweeted it. So this video is like a 5-minute watch. If you're on Twitter, I highly recommend giving this thing a watch. It was really interesting. It's basically the British version of Shark Tank. And the guy who's on there is selling them on the concept of almost what Jasmy is. Now, he doesn't say anything about personal data lockers. He doesn't say anything about the metaverse. He doesn't say anything about blockchain. But what he does talk about, he talks all about the value of user data and how this is going to be a billion-dollar industry. Now, what's interesting in the video is he does mention that there is a US competitor with blockchain who does this. Now, I'm not sure exactly who that is, so I would love to find out if anybody knows specifically who the US competitor is, who that company is. But in the video, he does not mention Jasmy at all. My takeaway from the video, which I found fascinating, was that the sharks in the video in particular loved the idea. They loved it. And multiple sharks said they would give him exactly what he was asking for, which was a 10% stake in the company and, 60 million euros or whatever it was. But anyway, they agreed to his exact terms, is my point. And so after he had multiple sharks agree to his exact terms, he asked the two that he thought could benefit him the most if they would be willing to partner together and agree to those same terms. And they both said absolutely. And so that's where, if you've got 5 sharks who are wealthy individuals, who are business creators, who are entrepreneurs, who are investors, who can see the value in this concept moving forward, and all of them are on board. And not only were they all on board, but they were then willing to lower how much ownership they would get down to 5% to then work in partnership with him. I just thought that was a huge plug for the entire concept of data democratization. So I think this company, his company's name, I want to say was Jenner in the number 8. I think that competition is a good thing. I think competition pushes the industry, and there's never just one, there's never one, like I've seen people talk about with blockchain. You're like, oh, well, who's going to be the winner at the end of the day? Is it Ethereum? Is it Solana? Is it Polkadot? Is it the Binance Smart Chain? What if there's no winner, right? So if you think about the computer industry in particular, right? Like, who makes computers? Okay, so we've got Apple, we've got Dell, you've got HP, IBM. You've got all these different companies that make computers. Are there some that are better than others? Yeah, but it depends on the specs, right? They're not exactly the same. They're all a little bit different. And I don't know if there's ever a clear-cut winner anywhere. I think certain computer companies probably make strong headway with, they get a partnership with somebody who needs, 10,000 computers a year. Okay, great. There's never really just a winner, right? And now you could probably argue that out of all the, ecosystem, what am I trying to say? All of the, like Apple or Android or whatever, you could probably argue that Apple is probably somewhere near the top, but that's kind of relative. It depends on the person. So some people really like their PC, right? And some people use both. I personally use both. So anyways, my point in all of this is that I think competition's a good thing, and it's okay to have competition because I think that will push Jasmy to go even further to increase their game theory, their rewards, their staking, to really push for user adoption. This is a really good thing. Okay. So anyway, just a really good watch if you're on Twitter, or if you're not on Twitter, if you just go to my page, you can find this video here. Like I said, it's a 5-minute watch, and all of the sharks bought in immediately. So great sales pitch from the founder here at Generate, and we'll see what happens with that. So to be determined, right? Moving further here, so we've got our weekly call that we are doing. We did the last one on Sunday, went about 3 hours. That was a long one. I don't know if I can make it the full 3 hours. At the end of the day, Sunday, I've got a lot of responsibilities as a dad, and making dinner and things like that. So I don't know if I'll be on it the full 3 hours, but anyway, I'm going to try and call in again this Sunday. And Jasmy US, as I mentioned, he stepped up and was the host because Blake wasn't feeling well, and did an excellent job. Looks like he's got it set again here. So we got a lot to talk about. I know Jasmy US, I've looked at his posts through the week. He is real bullish on a lot of things that are happening here with Jasmy. So tune into that call if you're available on a Sunday afternoon, right? So if you're in the UK, it'll be real late at night. If you're in the US, it'll be in the afternoon at 5:30 Eastern time. That's what time it is here for me in Florida, right? Now, lastly, I had this post here, Jasmy Foundation. We have a deep relationship with one of these prospective projects and are excited to make a major announcement in the near future. I'm interested in what this is. What is that? This is like a little teaser carrot here, and I think this could correspond with Metaverse 2.0 coming out on July 15th. So it says the project is a Metaverse project with cutting-edge culture, starting from the most prominent and coolest landmark of the Japanese capital, Tokyo. Interesting. So to be determined on that one. So not really a whole lot to go on there other than there may be a big announcement here with the Metaverse in the very near future. Okay. Now, wanted to show you a couple other things. So this in particular, there was a post that somebody did on Reddit, and it was one of my prior videos. And in the video, it was the one where I was asking, well, is Jasmy Sony? Yes or no? And what I said specifically in the video is that now Marita, one of the members of the Jasmy team, is the one who invented the Felicia chip, the Secure Guardian technology, patented technology, okay? He invented it at Sony. Now he works at Jasmy. Jasmy is using this technology, right? So I was saying, is Sony Jasmy? Yes or no? There are some really, really close ties here, right? Really, really close. Now, I have seen an interview since where the team and Hara in particular said they are not Sony. They are not Sony, okay? But he said, we always want to work with them. Okay, so they basically have open relationships with Sony, so for future partnerships and whatnot going into the future. All right, so they are not Sony. All right, now in response to that, Lil Bidman on Reddit said, "Yeah, this information is kind of incorrect, but probably not on purpose." And he insinuated that actually Jasmy was part of VAIO. Okay. Now, he cited a YouTube post that was an interview with Hara, as well as, I can't remember, I think it was maybe Bitpoint, the representative Bitpoint on there. But it's all in Japanese. Okay. And so when you turn on the closed captions, this is what it says. And this is Hara's direct quote. He says, "The company that the VAIO team actually founded, Jasmy." That's what he says. So he says the VAIO team founded Jasmy, right? Well, Brian went ahead and put on Google Lens on the exact same thing. And here's what he got. So it says, "Jasmy is a pure Japanese company made in Japan by the VAIO team." Now, what Lil Bidman insinuated was that this was a VAIO project. I don't think so. Okay, I think that's a bit of a stretch. So, were they part of the VAIO team when VAIO was part of Sony? Yes. Okay, but the guys who are leading Jasmy did not leave Sony, go to VAIO, and then create this as an offshoot. That did not happen. So, saying that it's a VAIO project, I don't really agree with that. Okay. My interpretation here is simply that all of these guys worked at Sony together, and they worked very closely with VAIO, and the VAIO. They were part of the VAIO team at Sony, and that's why, since they've left Sony, they're still really tight with VAIO. Okay. Now, what's really interesting, and I showed this, I want to say, in maybe it was last week's video, is if you look at the Jasmy Clubhouse NFTs on OpenSea, there are a few of those that the art image of, Hara or whoever is holding a VAIO laptop. And Lil Bidman has shown us on Reddit where Sony still owns the patents for all of this. Okay. So there are indirect links that link all of this up, essentially. So basically, we've got this NFT art with VAIO's logo in it. Okay, that's patented by Sony. That's part of the Jasmy Clubhouse NFTs. Then we've got this statement, and I think, this is one of these things that it's just sort of up for interpretation. And it was stated by Hara, who was not a former Sony employee. He was KPMG, right? So remember that. He was not Sony. But he has said numerous times, we are former Sony execs, not him, of course, but the vast majority of the rest of them. And then he said this is founded by the VAIO team, which could basically mean that Kunitake Ando, all these guys, they worked, they basically developed VAIO while they were at Sony. But they did not leave Sony and then split off and go to VAIO when VAIO split off from Sony. They did not go over to VAIO and then create this project at VAIO, and then now it's separate. That's not what happened. So they left Sony, then they created the project. So were they part of the VAIO team at Sony? Yes, but is this a VAIO project? No, I don't think it is. So it seems to be completely separate, and they are not Sony and they are not VAIO, but they have got some really, really tight relationships with VAIO and with Sony, because otherwise, how on earth do you put out those NFTs like that have a VAIO laptop? So really, really interesting. So anyway, that's just my interpretation of that. I don't think they are VAIO or Sony. I think they are simply Jasmy, but they're really, really tightly correlated to VAIO and Sony. Okay. All right. Lastly, I wanted to cruise on over here to TradingView, show you all what's going on in the current Jasmy chart to kind of give you an update on what's happening. We had a trend that was a little bit higher here that we were riding up, and we sort of broke through that a little bit. So the trend's a little lower, but it is an uptrend. And what I would tell you right now is we are at 0.009. Historically, Jasmy, I want to say somebody, maybe it was Jasmy US, one of you guys had mentioned that the lowest you'd seen it go was 0.0793. So just barely below 0.008. And a couple of guys in our group said, hey, I've got buy orders set at 0.005. Well, historically, it has not gone that low. Okay. And I don't know if it'll go that low now. So to be determined, those buy orders may just sit there forever and never actually get filled. In the meantime, I have been picking up Jasmy kind of like a every other day kind of DCA, just watching it, 0.009. These prices are just, these are like a gift from God. It depends on how you look at the current market. If you look forward from today, then you're in one hell of an opportunity. If you look backward from today, then you probably got a lot that you're upset about with how low the market is, right? And I've been thinking about opportunities a lot lately. I've shared with you all that I own 3 different houses, okay? Well, when I bought all the real estate over the last, 5-6 years, I think the first one I bought in maybe 14, 15, something like that. So I guess a little older than that. When I bought those properties, that's because they were the best investment opportunity. And that's why I bought them, okay? Fast forward to today, the 3 properties themselves are worth about $1.4 million, and I've got, 750,000 plus in equity, okay, over the course of however many years. So let's say 7 or 8 years. So those have been excellent investments, and I didn't buy them all 8 years ago. I bought one about 8 years ago, one about 5, one about 3 or so, okay? But needless to say, they have all paid off well. And so granted, all those gains are on paper, fine, whatever. But the point is that at the time that I bought those, it's because they were the best investment opportunity, and I was looking forward. Well, as of today, July 1st, where's the best investment opportunity? Is it in real estate? Probably not, right? Because the real estate market has been really high. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, real estate's going to come back down, right? Because the Fed's increasing the rates. Well, not exactly, because there's a lot of institutional investment buying up houses right now. So I don't know if that's going to happen. This isn't exactly '08. But my point in all of this is that where there is an opportunity is in crypto, it's in the stock market. There's some huge opportunities right now. And I highlighted that the other day in the video that I did on VGX, that year to date, that one's down like 91%. So my point in all of this is that if you're looking forward from today with Jasmy, this is one hell of an opportunity. And when you look back at this a couple of years from now, this could be, it's one of these things where, is there a risk in every investment? Yes, there is always inherent risk. Okay, you could always lose your money. Yes, that is true. You could lose your money. But is it worth it for you to invest in something even as little as like $10 a day into something like Jasmy to see what happens? And for me personally, it's definitely worth the risk. Okay, I've done it before, with the real estate stuff. I've got significant retirement accounts that have done really well over time. I've seen what happened in '08. I've seen that market struggle and the government come in and bail them out. Well, this is very similar, but in the crypto market, there is no government to bail them out. There's only Sam Bankman-Fried and CZ and, a few other major players, right? But they are doing these bailouts. I think the market will return. As I joked about in a tweet the other day, where I posted basically every doom and gloom scenario possible in crypto and said, phew, now that I got that out, I can start looking forward, right? I just think there is a lot of opportunity right now. This is going to be the time of crypto that a couple of years from now, everybody's going to be looking at and going, God, I wish I had gotten more. I saw a post from one of the big influencers on CT where she in particular said, I wish I had bought more in the last bear market, and I wish I had sold more in the bull market, right? And that's probably true for a lot of people. I think that was a good statement. So anyways, a lot of opportunity here where Jasmy goes. Currently, we are riding this latest trend line up, and we'll see what happens from here. depending on Bitcoin and the rest of the market. But overall, Jasmy has really held the 0.008 level very strongly. I really don't see this going full bullish until our 200-day EMA gets a lot closer to our 50-day. This is the green line, and our 20-day, the red line. The blue one is still all the way up here. It is at 4 cents. So we got a ways to go before these get more tightly together. I think it's probably going to stay, pretty low for quite a while, bouncing around, whatnot. But now is the time. Now is the time where if you're going to stack, this is it. And again, this is why I always advocate for like a DCA. I do not advocate putting in big buys or large amounts of money or your life savings or anything like that. You just do it over time. And if you think there's enough value here, then you could do really well in the future. Everything in investing is speculative, so to be determined. But going back to that British Shark Tank video, you could see all the big time investors there. I mean, the wheels were turning. Every single one of them was buying into this idea. And it is the data democratization idea. And when he was pitching it, he was not pitching the personal data locker. He was not pitching Edge AI. He was not pitching blockchain. And so Jasmy takes this a heck of a lot further. Okay. So anyhow, we're going to wrap this up here with some final thoughts on what all this news means in today's video. If you're enjoying today's video and you want to learn more, don't forget to visit our website at KIRfinance.com. Once you're at the site, I've got tons of helpful links. I've got a financial blog that's completely free. I've even got links to our Patreon page where I recently lowered the pricing tiers across the board. We're trying to build a movement here with this site, and we're trying to get all of you to financial freedom. So if you want to get on board, make sure to check us out today. And now let's get back to the video. All right, so for some final thoughts in today's video. I know we had a lot in this video. There was a lot to unpack there. But going first to the imagery released by the team, whether it be on DD Coin or the ecosystem itself, I thought both of those were really good. We need more information like this. So that tells me that the team is listening to the community and they are putting out this information. They want to, kind of quell these fears that are going on with DD Coin and, how it hadn't been in the white paper and why they're doing it now. So I think DD Coin is essential. It's a good thing, and they're explaining that in the various images that they released. Okay, so that was all very positive. On the marketing front, so we've got the Metaverse launching right around the corner. Now we're in July. We got 2 weeks for that to happen. We've got the big Sagan Tosu match tomorrow where they're giving away 9,500 jerseys. Keep an eye on eBay after the match. I'm sure some will turn up there. So that's awesome. The blue jerseys with the Jasmy logo on it. I found that really bullish. The Huobi listing for Japan is very bullish. So all we need now is one more exchange listing, and then Jasmy would be green listed. It could be listed on all of them in Japan. So that's really awesome. So even more exchange listings targeting Japan specifically could be right around the corner. Okay, so really important there. Now, we also tried to tackle the question of is Jasmy Sony, is Jasmy VAIO, or none of the above? My personal opinion is, from everything I've seen, it is none of the above. Okay, all the research I've done, I wondered, is it Sony? There's some really tight ties to Sony. The answer, supposedly from the team, is no, they are not Sony, but they want to and will continue to work with Sony. Okay. Then is the question of, are they VAIO? No, they're not. They did not leave Sony and go to VAIO and then create this project at VAIO that then became Jasmy. No, that is not what happened. But when they were at Sony, they were heavily involved in VAIO. And, I didn't mention earlier, Ken Miura, the guy who is tasked with leading the Silicon Valley expansion, he was heavily involved with VAIO, okay? So, the NFTs that show the VAIO laptop, that is a trademark that is still owned by Sony, even though VAIO is separate, that is used by Jasmy. That's really interesting. That is one hell of a connection between the three of them, okay? So, again, to recap, I do not think Jasmy is Sony. I do not think Jasmy is VAIO. But I do think Jasmy works very closely with both of them, okay? So really, really interesting little fact there, okay? So overall, in this past week, we had a lot of really good news, even though, you know, the crypto market as a whole has just been kind of floundering along. I really have tried to highlight what a just crazy opportunity this is. And again, this opportunity, when you're in the full-on bear market, where we're at in the rainbow charts at the very bottom of the dark blue color, this is an opportunity that comes around rarely every 4 years. So if you take advantage of it, if you're looking forward, it could be an excellent one. If you're looking backward, then you probably have a lot that you could be upset about. You know, everybody's accounts are down. I totally get it. But you really have to see the long-term picture and the macro view of this market as a whole and what it means, okay? So it's not just the crypto market, it's the stock market. Everything's down. I was even talking to my dad, and he's telling me how he's buying nothing but Ford. So he's investing in the stock market, right? So there's opportunities all around here in crypto. But, you know, the main thing here is to see the potential in this one. And I think what was really important in today's video and what we highlighted was in particular that video of the sharks on the British Shark Tank and how quickly they all got on board this idea of data democratization. So the idea itself is a really good one. And in that pitch, like I mentioned, he didn't say anything about blockchain. He didn't say anything about Metaverse. He didn't say anything about IoT. He didn't say anything about Web3. He didn't say anything about a personal data locker or edge AI. So when you add in all of those factors with Jasmy, then you can see why there's so much potential here in this Jasmy project. So, you know, overall, I thought it was a very good week for Jasmy in terms of the various imagery that they released and the various news pieces that have come out from the different accounts that are on CT. I know it's hard to follow all these accounts because there's like 3, 4, 5 of them, it seems like. But when you follow the influencers, and the influencers post the various things here, which is why I went right through my feed there, you can track it all sort of in one place. So a lot of information from a lot of different sources, but overall a really good week. All right. So hope you all have a fantastic weekend. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit the like button. Don't forget, as I mentioned, that I am also on Twitter at KIR Finance, where you can find me tweeting and retweeting on a regular basis. Check me out there. And lastly, for a friendly reminder, this is Jesse with Keeping It Real Finance. Channel that says your back, tells it like it is, and I will see you on the next one. Later.